Hey friends, welcome back to Queer Gravel, and today I'm going to show you how to clean your gravel bike. Now if you're out riding gravel, you know that your bike can get really dusty, dirty, and grimy really fast. So cleaning your bike is one of the most important things you can do to increase the longevity of your bike and all of your consumable components like your chain, cassette, and the rest of your drivetrain. The first thing we're going to do is wet the bike. Spray everything down. Once you have the bike rinsed off, I use Muck Off Fast Action Bike Cleaner, and I'm just going to spray all over the bike. So I'm going to spray literally everything down to the tires, the wheels, the drivetrain, derailleurs, the frame. This is kind of my first line of defense for getting the bike nice and clean. You can see I'm running low. I usually use the Muck Off Punk powder, which is actually just a powdered version of this spray. And you dump it in there, fill it with water, saves a lot of plastic. Definitely a great call. Once we've sprayed down the bike with our cleaner, I just like to give it a good scrub, just to get off any of the hard or stuck grime. I've had a couple punctures since the last time I cleaned my bike, so I do have some sealant stuck here on the back of my frame. So I'm just going to scrub this all down. All right, so I'm going to get right in here and really try and get a lot of that gunk off. Tubeless tires are great because they keep your bike from having to, totally flat out. You can usually get home with a tubeless tire, but they do leave a lot of gunk. So I can peel some nasty stuff off the back here. So you want to make sure if you've had a puncture that you take the time to clean your frame. You want to pay special attention to the areas that get really gross and grimy, particularly up here around your headset. Any place where there's extra grease, so like your bottom bracket, if you can get behind your chain rings, that's a really good call. And then all this stuff back here in between the tires, this sees a lot of gunk. Once you've done some scrubbing, I like to spray the bike down again, just to rinse off anything that's still stuck in there. And look at that, we're already looking so much cleaner. All right, now that we have the frame clean, we're gonna move into cleaning the drivetrain. Cleaning the drivetrain is maybe the most important part of cleaning your bike, as these are components that will wear out over time, and the cleaner you keep them, the longer they'll last. And everybody likes saving money. Again, I'm just using the standard Muck Off drivetrain cleaner, and I just like to spray everything down. I'm pretty generous with this because I feel like spending money on drivetrain cleaner is a lot less expensive than spending money on new chain rings or a new chain or cassette. When it comes to doing a deep clean of the chain, I really like using this Park Tool CM 5.3 chain cleaner. Some people think these things are gimmicks, but I think that they work really, really well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fill this up to the fill line. You can cut this with water just to save on the drivetrain cleaner if you want. My bike's pretty gross, so I'm gonna go full strength today. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this and you're gonna clamp it here on the chain. And you're gonna put these little clasps on. And then all you're gonna do is pedal. It'll tell you which direction. So it wants me to go this way. And we're just gonna pedal backwards. It sounds pretty terrible. But what this is doing, all the brushes and things in there are getting into all the tiny links and pieces of the chain to make sure they're super clean. Awesome. Once I've done that several times and I can see that all this stuff is real loose and wet, I can undo the chain cleaner and then I'll just wipe the chain down. That's kind of the next piece. With the chain clean, I'll come in and really scrub the cassette with a brush just to help get out all of that extra grime. I think I rode through the field and I definitely got some like grass and whatnot stuck in my cassette deep down. So I'm just going to use the brush to scrub in a little bit deeper. You can also use a technique called flossing, which I'll show you here. If you really want to get in and get your drivetrain super clean, you just simply take a rag And you're gonna do just like it says. You're gonna floss the cassette. This is a lot easier when your wheel is off the bike. So if you wanna take your wheel off, you can do that. You get the edge of the rag in between the cassette cogs and wipe like so. And you can tell the difference, how much of a difference that makes. Now all this stuff is pretty clean and will rinse well, but that is just sparkling. So I'm gonna wipe the chain off, get all that dirt and grime off the chain. And then I'll make sure to get the chain rings wiped off. And the jockey wheels. Jockey wheels hold a lot of gunk, and so it's really important that we get them super clean. You can even use this fun little tool to get in there and really like scrape off all the gunk. Oh, you just place the hook here and you can rotate the wheel and you can see all that gunk getting peeled off. And then you'll want to do that on the other side and with the upper jockey wheel as well. It's a little bit harder to see. It's definitely going to make a big difference. Getting all that crud off the jockey wheels. Once I've done that clean, I'll do another spray down just to rinse off all the stuff that's gotten really loose. Now this step isn't 100% necessary, but I like using it. This Mo 94 from Muck Off, it acts as a lubricant and helps to dry out everything in the chain and the drivetrain. You want it dry because when the water and moisture collects in these links, it can cause rust and corrosion. So we don't want that. So I'll spray this down. The other place I really like to use this is on my pedals. So I use the Garmin Rally XC 200s, and I've found with any clip-in SPD pedal, the springs that allow you to clip in and out can get a little gritty and grimy and can cause some squeaking. And so this actually cuts that out completely. So I'll spray a little bit on the springs of each pedal. It dries really fast, and then I have a really smooth motion in and out, clipping in and out on the pedals. Once the chain is clean and dry, then we need to lube it. This is one thing I don't use a Muck Off product for. I actually use NFS, the Nix Friction Green Genie. Is a completely plant-based bike lube, totally biodegradable. This stuff is the jam. I bought this bottle with my own money, and I just think this stuff is great, and I definitely think you should check it out. I'll put all the links in the description for everything I use. All right, when you lube your chain, the only part that needs lubrication are the little wheels inside here. So we're just gonna put a little drop for each link, starting at the quick link. With Nix Friction, you don't have to use very much. So it's one drop every couple of links. And I'll do this all the way around the chain. It's important to start at the quick link so that you know where you started and where you need to stop. All right, and we're back to the quick link. Once you have a little bit of lube spread throughout the chain, you're just gonna spin the chain pretty quickly for a little bit and allow the lube to work in. After I've lubed the chain and made sure that it's worked into all the links, I'll just take a rag and wipe off the excess. Excess lube means your chain will get dirtier faster because it will collect dirt and it will stay and get itself all worked into your drivetrain. So you don't want a dirty chain, so wipe off the excess bike lube. Now that we've cleaned the frame and the drivetrain, we're gonna move on to the brakes. Now this is different if you have a rim brake bike, but most gravel bikes nowadays are equipped with disc brakes, and so I like to clean them last, and I am mindful to not pull on the brakes in the midst of cleaning. Because as you saw, we sprayed everything down, we wiped stuff gets on the disc rotors, and we wanna make sure that those stay super clean so that we have brakes that don't scream and squeal while we're riding. So what I like to use to clean my disc brakes are just these isopropyl alcohol wipes. They don't leave any lint behind, and the alcohol both cleans and then dries really quickly. So using these wipes is really easy. You're just gonna take them and clean the rotor, wipe it down really well. And you'll be able to see some of the grit and grime that comes off. They'll be a little bit darker. And then you have nice, clean disc brakes. Well, there you have it, folks. That is how to clean your gravel bike. Now, there are lots of little ins and outs that you can add or subtract, but this is kind of the basics to get you started so that you know how to care for your bike as best as possible and maintain your components as long as possible. I hope you found this helpful. If there was anything that you learned, make sure to hit the like button. Drop a comment below and let me know about your bike cleaning routine. Don't forget to subscribe and ding the bell for notifications so that you know when I'm posting the next video. And I would love to give a special shout out to my extra camera woman today. Farron was helping out with some cameraing today. Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Yeah. Farron and I are also going to be working on a series where she trains to ride 50 miles. Are you excited about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
The only reason why I'm doing that is so I can get an iPad.
Yeah, there is some bribery involved, but that's okay. So you'll be seeing a lot more of Farron on the channel here soon. We're super stoked because she loves riding bikes too, huh? Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, y'all.